Hello there. My name's Mark, aka the Canardian, and this is episode 54 of the Holocron Chronicles. I'm joined, as always, by my slightly distracted by Disney Plus co-host, co-pilot,
Huh? What?
rebel,
Where? What's
spy,
happening?
Charlie. Charlie, how you doing tonight?
I don't know. How am I? I'm great. I'm good. No, I'm doing something somewhat scurrilous that I can't tell you about that might involve something that might get me assaulted by Mickey Mouse. So
No, it's all fine. I'm wearing a Mickey Mouse shirt. We're good. We're
Yeah, it's
on
fine.
the
It's
good
cool.
graces right now.
Mark is apparently personal friends with Mickey, so you're good.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
besties. Yeah, good stuff. And that voice you heard is returning guest. This is what, 3-4 times you've been on right now?
I think this is the fourth. With you going through it, you reminded me of all of the other episodes that I've done.
Right.
So I think this might be
Awesome.
the fourth episode.
Well, Kate, thanks for joining us again. This is awesome to have you back. And
Absolutely.
last time you were on episode 45. This time it's episode 54. Flipping those numbers and just getting you back. That's great.
And we'll have to split them in half or take the lean or do some kind of like I never made it to calculus. So square root times pi will be the next number that you're on. No, I don't know.
Or just when you ask me next. I mean, I had said, well, if 5 plus 4 is 9, so we could do 90. And Mark said that I'm not allowed to wait that long to come
That's
back on.
too much.
So
Yes,
Yeah, that's way too much.
There's
sorry,
no
folks.
mathematical formula.
You're stuck with me.
The sound you may have heard there was Charlie's smoke alarm going off as his brain tried to do math. I could watch that in real time. If you're not watching the YouTube video, now's a great time to subscribe. You can actually see the smoke coming out of his ear.
If I lift this, maybe
there's
it's already dissipated.
That's perfect. Just like blasters, you gotta lift that vent so they don't overheat.
Pew.
I think that would be canonical because that's. So the Tales from the Galaxy's Edge VR game, you actually have to like vent your blasters or they will overheat. And I think that game's canonical. So that should be like an actual thing in Star Wars where some of the blasters you just kind of need to like, let off a little steam.
I mean,
don't know.
yeah, I would think so. Anything that came out post Disney, whatever, they maintain that stuff's all canonical. So
right.
There you go.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is the Needler in Halo.
Needle.
Or any of the Halo weapons.
Yeah. Pretty close actually. Gonna feel that same kind of Halo vibe for some of that. Anyway, I'm way off topic.
I do that. You're welcome.
That's fine. It happens. It's us. So I think we've been through most of the Star Wars origin story for Kay, but I think one thing you mentioned when we were talking a little bit before we started recording was, I don't know if we went through your favorite character.
Yes.
So if anyone's curious about your Star Wars origins, go back and listen to the other episodes. But let's talk about your favorite character.
My favorite character, I had to think about this for a second, and then I realized, I started thinking about all the sassy droids because I thought of Chopper, and I was like, oh yeah, he's a great droid. And then I remembered HK-47. And so for anyone who doesn't know, that is the droid from KOTOR, who is an assassination droid, and he refers to every, biological creature as just meatbag. And it was actually programmed. You find out later he was actually programmed by the main character to refer to everyone as meatbag because they thought it was funny. And he is just, he is just like pinnacle. Yeah, pinnacle sassy droid energy right there. I don't think you can tell me that there's a sassier droid than HK-47.
Yeah, if Chopper could speak, in basic rather than if we could understand what Chopper was saying.
I think Chopper might give him a run. That would be one of those side shows or side episodes of Chopper and HK-47 getting together. I don't know if the galaxy could handle it, but I would be there for that episode. I would love just a spin-off series of those two, even though they they are not around in the same timeline at all, but weirder stuff has happened.
Yeah. Plus they're droids. I mean, you can kind of keep replacing parts and kind of everlasting life as long as you maintain them, kind of thing. Yeah. I guess. So kind of. I'd love to see that. At least if someone has a fan fiction of that one, send it our way. Because I just now I need that to be a thing. I'm not going to write it myself, but I need that to be a thing. I need just sassy droid action. Just You're like past the point of sassy at that, like with that team up specifically. Like that's just like you said, like galaxy ending.
Yeah, because
Shenanigans.
neither of them, they're just going to keep trying to one up each other. And there's going to be a point where either they're going to go full circle and accidentally save the entire galaxy while trying to destroy it,
Hmm.
or they're going to become the ultimate Sith Lords.
The only one potential saving
Either
grace
or.
that I could picture for this scenario, aside from accidentally saving the universe, is one of them, probably Chopper, just gets jealous of someone else kind of like having to share that spotlight and just like pushes him out of a
Right.
ship.
Well,
'Cause
but
we've
that's where
seen
you
that
end up
before.
with the Sith Lord thing, is because there can only be
The
one.
power, yeah.
So then they end up with this huge power struggle.
I like it.
I feel like we've already written the fanfic at this point.
I
Like
think, yeah,
we're giving you notes. So anyone who wants to write this, you can totally do it. Just give us a copy of it.
It's
Yeah.
amazing how we're not making this big money. Oxford and I have been chasing this for years, and nothing has come of it. I just it's terrible. It's terrible. I'm very disappointing. But
if Kathleen Kennedy's listening,
say la vie. Oh my goodness.
One other one, I can't remember if I asked favorite affiliation. This is kind of a newer question. I think you may have been one of the first.
I don't know if I answered this. I feel like I might have, just because I know I love the bounty hunters, but also I do love this style of the Empire. Like,
right,
just
okay.
Fascism knew how to make those angles with their clothing. It's always very minimalist,
very angular. The boots.
Yeah,
It's all
and
about the boots.
Aaron and I play. My spouse Aaron, we play the Star Wars, the little mini game with the ships.
Mm-hmm.
And
I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, and he likes the A-wing because it's clunky and it's stupid. So
Right.
That's his favorite ship. So he's always the rebels, and I always
so fast though. I like the A-wings.
And I play the Empire, of course, and because again, cooler ships in my opinion. They're sleek, they're cool. I know, and you know what? We can agree to disagree. We can agree to disagree. It's fine. Just you can know I'm right. So every time we're playing, I always play the Empire. So
it's a little too soon.
Mark is now changing his mind on when he's going to have me on. He's like, she's dissing all my ships.
Yeah, maybe we're going 145 for this one.
Stretch it out. Yes, give her a little time to think about what she's done.
Yeah. I just in love, because I honestly I don't care that much. I just always think it's funny when people do care a lot.
That's very empathetic of you, Kate. I really think it's funny when idiots care about things.
No, I like when people get like aggressive. Like if I say that I like the Empire ship and they're like, "Oh my god, how could you like this?" I'm like, I don't know. I think they're cool. Like I think the Empire did have style.
It's a good thing we don't have. I was gonna say that we don't need to have a Star Wars show where we have you and Todd on at the same time. She'd be like, "I love the Bad Batch." How could you love the Bad Batch?
He has told me so many times where he's like, "We're done with David or whatever that makes it." He's like, he's had his time, and I'm like, he will never have his time.
You know,
if he's making stuff,
if he's cashing the checks, that's Filoni time. It's
right?
no baloney Filoni. You just call it that. Hashtag trademark. There you go. Oh my god.
It's officially a Holocron Chronicles episode. We're 9 minutes in. We've already shit all over Todd. So congratulations.
I mean, I'm going to try to keep it to a lean 3:30 next time if I can get it in. But yeah.
I'm sorry, Todd. We love you.
I've got to just replace the starting hello there with just something making fun of Todd. Just like
hello
intro
there.
2 seconds. Yeah. Hello there. If you want to accept Todd.
Exactly.
We will not allude to this when we have to do our recorded bit with Todd when the show.
He's gonna have to listen to it to make sure we're not making fun of him.
Quality control, exactly.
Exactly. All right. So hi Todd, I hope you're listening. All right, let's jump into some news, because I checked right before we started recording. I can't see it online yet.
I've been looking for the last 2 hours. Nothing.
As we're speaking, potentially the new season 3 Mandalorian trailer.
I think I just watched it.
is somewhere. Oh shit! Wow,
No, are
really?
you serious?
Yeah, because
Oh my
I
goodness!
just saw on your notes you were like, oh, Mandalorian season 3 trailer. I'm like, oh, I should watch that
It was
before.
supposed to drop during the football game,
Yeah.
because there's this wild card game on right now. Hold on, let me keep refreshing. Nope, nope,
Oh no,
nope,
no, I guess
nope.
this one was from like two weeks ago.
Yeah,
So that was the one I
there
must
was
have
a
watched.
10-second teaser trailer on last night. Like, watch it during the game, but it's so dumb. Like, oh, we're still trying to make network television relevant, so here's a trailer that you're going to watch on YouTube anyway. And this is coming from somebody who literally was raised on the backs of network television because my mom was a TV ad sales rep when I was growing up. It's but I also used to sell newspaper advertising the first half of my career, which is also no longer a thing. So stuff changes. Give it up. Nobody
Hmm.
cares. Just put it on YouTube and stop screwing us around. Like the Ant-Man tickets. I bought Ant-Man tickets a little over an hour ago because they went on sale at 8 p.m. And it was like they're going to go on sale during the NFL wildcard game. And I'm like, because what? Okay.
But then that just means you're not going to be watching the wild card game because you're going to be buying
Yeah.
tickets.
I'm on my computer hitting refresh. Exactly. Oh
So
my
I
God.
like okay. I'm gonna play the Canadian card here and like the
Oh,
Where you don't understand like the
French,
crazy
the
American
go
capitalism.
French
well,
maple
no,
syrup.
not even that. Like the Go Sports. Like I don't really follow a
Dude,
lot of
no.
the
I
team
mean,
sports.
but you're a Canadian, so
Like
it's not
is
hockey and curling and stuff. You're not into all
is
that
the
stuff.
is the Venn diagram of like Star Wars and Marvel fans and football fans, like is that like a how close are those
No.
Not to
circles? Like
me.
have we got,
Not even a little bit.
and
I mean,
I know we're
Yeah.
generalizing, I think, but
I mean,
Most
Oxford's a big football
right.
football guy. He lives in Minnesota. He loves his Vikings. I'm from Michigan. We all love the Lions, but if at all. But I don't. I think a lot of enjoying something like football and watching it all the time has to do with growing up having a parent or an uncle or somebody who loved that stuff. And I didn't. You know what? My folks were divorced. My dad wasn't at home. I didn't watch football with anybody. Ruined my life. No, I actually saved my life because it pushed me into this life. But I just don't care in the
Hmm.
slightest about Todd plays fantasy football. I just don't get it. So TLDR, I don't think that there's a Venn diagram that somehow puts together this what we do and sports ball.
Yeah.
I
I
just
mean,
don't.
I think that you can definitely have some fan overlap. I'm not
Of course,
sure
yeah.
how strong
Always.
the fervor is for one or the other. I mean, I don't really know anyone who is, I want to say, like a serious fan of, the geek culture stuff that we do and is also a serious fan of football, except for maybe Todd. I just
Right.
learned that.
And I
Um,
know a couple for sure that
yeah,
do like full like that
right.
circle, like those two circles are pretty much one circle. There's
Yeah.
like a
I
couple of
Right.
mean,
people I can
yeah,
think of, obviously, but like general like to Charlie's point, why drop it there first? Why not? I'm gonna wait for it to hit YouTube either way. I'm not gonna like tune into a random football game to be
right.
like,
You probably have better
Yeah.
chances with
do I
like a
give a
Twitch
shit?
stream or something.
Yeah,
Probably so. I mean, you
Yeah.
could see, like I said, from the
even
old
that
model.
like.
Yeah, from the old model of marketing and networks and da da da. Like,
Mm.
oh, you know what? There's going to be an extra drive because there's going to be a trailer or whatever. So here's $30 million, Ford. Give us $30 million, Ford Motor Company, and you can put your new self-driving car that Mark was telling me about on. You know,
Yeah, and I mean, and I definitely, I grew up watching football with my dad, so I know the games and the rules and everything, and I definitely enjoy it when it's on. But for me, it's more watching it with someone versus just like I don't just watch the games to watch the games.
right,
Mhm.
Um,
right.
so I mean, if I am part of that Venn diagram, it's a very small overlap
So,
with the football. Like I would never tune into a game just so I could see like a 2-minute trailer that again I can watch on YouTube later. I'm not gonna
right,
waste all of that
Right.
exactly.
time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Um,
Boy, we are really moving mountains on this episode
yeah,
of the show.
yeah, no,
What
it is.
a
We have
philosophical discussion.
just absolutely crapped over all
Generalizations.
popular culture and the sports culture. And Todd, our co-founder, we're just
Hmm.
we're like, this is the inmates running the asylum. It's just it's
Let's
more
watch the
more
subscriber
monkeys in
numbers
circus.
drop.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's great. So generalizations aside, and I'm sorry I launched into that little tangent, but I just like it struck me as kind of weird. Just like, all right, wait, you nerds, watch football.
You
Get
can't tell
into
me
the
what to do.
sports. Do
How
do the football.
exactly
Yeah.
It's like that from Big Bang Theory.
go
Is Leonard
sports?
pulls a shirt up? Sports.
Right, yeah.
Uh, How hyped are you guys for the new season?
Oh
Not even seeing this new trailer.
my
We're
God.
pretty close to it dropping. Kay, how you feeling?
So I watched the trailer that was from 2 weeks ago, thinking it was the trailer from tonight.
And that was very exciting.
Yeah, it was super exciting. And honestly, watching it, it felt much more like season one. I was getting the vibes of,
Mm.
where I love that we're going back to the lore that was kind of sort of explored in Rebels.
The
Um,
Manda lore.
the Mandalore. Boom! I see what you did there. Love
That
me a
was
good
amazing.
dad pun.
You got that? Yeah.
It's pretty good.
So I'm really excited to see where they go with that. I mean, I didn't love finding out that they were gonna oh my word, Boba Fett. I wasn't thrilled that they were gonna put Boba Fett into season 2. I was like, that feels a little forced. And it did. It seemed a
And then
little
it
out of place.
turned
Yeah.
into a very forced TV show that they had to
Right.
bring Mando into, and it still sucked.
Right.
Amazingly.
I
Sorry.
Yeah.
think he's gonna come
So
back for season 3. Not to
yeah.
disappoint you preemptively, but
That
I
was
feel Hayden's back.
yeah, that wasn't great for me, but I do enjoy where it looks like they're going from the trailer in season 3. So I'm,
Mm,
one of my trademarks, I am hopefully or skeptically optimistic, like
That's
tentatively optimistic.
skeptically
I
optimistic.
I don't know if you guys saw the new poster. I'm holding it up on my phone if you
Oh
want to
my
see
god.
the full version.
Oh, now that is a great
It
example of
is
a working father right there. Look at that shit.
fantastic. So
Oh,
He's
it's
it's
like
amazing.
for
taking
anyone
your
just
kid to
listening,
work every day.
it's basically Mando just flying jetpack. There's explosions or fire beneath him. He's shooting his pistol, and Grogu's just up in his other arm. Uh,
I wonder if
one
Grogu's like
Oh,
clapping because
probably,
he's
yeah.
having a great time. Holy shit, this is great.
one thing there's a thing on his on his leg. I'm not sure if it's the dark saber or not. Some people were asking like, "Where's the dark saber?" I think it's there, but it might not be. But it even just that poster is very action packed.
Right.
Where a lot of some of the other posters have been him kind of walking or the ship
Hmm.
or this or that. Like this one is just like in your face action. Do you guys want a more action packed, like bombastic kind of
That was the one thing that I was a
season
little bit
versus what we got
hesitant
in Andor?
of.
Yeah.
Yeah, where I was like, I hope that like all this action that they're packing into the trailer, it isn't actually as action heavy as
Mhm.
they're making it seem, and that it can be more about the history of Mandalore and the problems that arose with it. But
Hmm.
we'll see. I don't know. What
I
do you think,
mean,
Charlie?
there's no doubt it'll be explosiony. But again, and it better be full of a lot of action, or we're going to be hearing about it from Todd because he doesn't like talking. But yeah, no, I think that there's room for both, without a doubt.
Hmm. Yeah,
You know, Star Wars is known for the wars part of it, as opposed to the talky part of it.
it's not
Um,
called Star Talkie.
Star talky Trekkie.
Yeah, I say
Oh
that would be Star Trek. Yeah.
yes, exactly. Exactly. So yes, but would I like to see them, embark a little bit more on the world building? I think Mando has done a nice job with some of that, like some of the weird little places Mando has to visit. Remember when he visited that planet that you could see the crazy ring, and then the as the sun rose, you could see it was all cities and stuff. Like,
Mhm.
show us more of that, absolutely. But yeah, to have the
That was in
majority.
Boba Fett, wasn't it?
Was it?
That was in Boba Fett.
That was
That's
the
when
Boba
Boba Fett
Fett
went to Halo.
spin thing. That was
Bo-
Halo, yeah.
but wasn't it Mando? Because Boba didn't really
It
leave
was, it was, but that was the remember there was like 2.5 episodes that were just Mando in the
Yeah,
middle of Boba
because
Fett
because Boba
Yes,
Fett
because
sucked.
yes, I
why
do
wouldn't they?
remember. Yeah,
Yeah.
I almost see like Mando stepping into the the writers' room, and be like, whoa, 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 whoa! I did pump the brakes, little buddy. I got this one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mando pulls a She-Hulk and is just like, "What are you guys doing?"
Yeah, exactly. He takes on Kevin. So for Kevin, it's Kathy,
Yeah.
Kathy. Oh my
I want to
god.
see a Kathy droid. That'd be amazing.
Oh my god. Oh, so yeah, I would. Yeah, I agree. I'm with Kate as usual. That lore building doesn't have to be exclusive. Doesn't have to be exclusive. Being excluded from
Mm.
Star Wars, and it doesn't have to be explosions and pew pews, because we had no story in Boba Fett, and it sucked because they would occasionally drop in a big explosion or a rancor or the Dayglow punks spinning around shooting their pistols, pew pew pew, and there was nothing else. You never got through any of that figuring out why Boba Fett did anything that he did, and we don't have the problem with Mando. We have watched him evolve from the crusty, the cold-blooded, and then he broke his code so that he could save this kid he loved, and then taking him everywhere and trying to help him fulfill his destiny, but ultimately the kid wants to be with him, and it's an endearing father and child love story, and yeah, I'd love to see it go on. It's the best thing that Star Wars has done, in my opinion, since the OT, without a doubt. I think Mando is.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Mando is the stamp as far as I'm concerned. So yeah,
I would say live action wise, that is correct.
Right.
Yeah, solid call.
Gotcha. Good. Yeah, those last several episodes of Clone Wars with Ahsoka and Order 66 was the best thing animated, hands down, in my opinion. We had a nice long episode about that way back when. And I wouldn't be surprised as the show goes on forever and ever if we come back and revisit that again because it was that good.
Yeah, maybe when the Ahsoka series starts airing.
Ooh, ding. Guess who's guesting on a special episode? Won't be 90. I bet it'll be somewhere in the 60s though, because we're getting that this year. So so look at that. All right, building the schedule. Cool.
Ahsoka is my girl. I will definitely. I mean, next to HK47, it would be Ahsoka next. So and maybe Sabine and Ahsoka.
And they're both going to be in the show together. So good. Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah.
Very super hyped.
Mando. I can't wait to see.
And we thought this was going to be a short episode.
I know.
We're only 20 minutes. We're gonna start our main discussion of the Bad Batch. We've got 3 episodes to discuss, but as usual, we're not going to be going super heavy and deep into these. Charlie, do you want to read kind of like, or just kind of refresh about what the 3 episodes were? Quickly, you don't have to read the full synopsis, but you can.
Yeah, you're right. This is kind of sort of what we do over on Code 47. I post this big long thing, and then Peter and Kay roll their eyes at me, and I say, "Well, just give me the gist of it." So anyway, episode. So we're into season 2. Episode 1 is Spoils of War. Came out on the first 2 episodes came out on January 4. The clones go to Serrano, the home of the late Count Dooku, to pull off a heist. Everybody loves a heist. It's very Ant-Man. Pull off a heist of Count Dooku's massive war chest. That doesn't mean that he looked like Popeye or anything. It's money. It's stuff in chests. It's not him being like to help finance a future of their own. Obviously things go wrong. They get there. The Empire's already stealing all the shit for the exact same reasons. So that, there's a bit of a dust up. They're fighting. I love the fact in this, obviously, that the Bad Batch, they are somewhat military pacifists. They don't kill the other clones. They stun them, which also seems like a bad move tactically, but it speaks to a different issue. But naturally, the team gets split up. Omega Tech and Echo get stuck inside one of these cargo containers that takes off, so they're dealing with that. And then Hunter and Wrecker are hanging on the outside. Then they fall off and they land back in the castle. And then they do some jumping around to try to get loose, and then they escaped into the ruined city. So, man, oh man! Also, fun episode that kicks off with them running from giant crabs on a Caribbean planet. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. So yeah, fun way to start. Yeah, fun way to start the season. I was definitely enthused by this first episode.
Yeah, it was. I loved how much they just jumped right into things, and it was just like, hey, you can catch up on your own. Otherwise, like, just here you go. Let's do this. And Omega's kicking some ass, and they're just full into it. Like, you got to know the crew, and you got to just catch up because they're, like you said, literally hitting the ground running on this crab planet. It's like, let's go. Yeah. And I do like how we got the Tales of the Jedi, which luckily we just covered and we just rewatched. So I think people who may have watched that back in November or October, whenever it dropped, like, great to refresh, because you got a little bit of, like, how Dooku got to where he ended up. And
Right.
then now we're seeing like the war chest. So we're learning more and more of Dooku's backstory and getting him more of a well-developed character. And now we're kind of seeing like how the Empire treated his not only his war chest, but as we kind of keep going on with these, like Dooku was kind of right, and people know
Right.
it, and like
Yeah.
the what's I'm forgetting the people that like basically they tout him as a hero,
Right.
the tech trade people,
Oh,
like the
the separatists, the Trade Federation.
yeah, I mean
Yeah.
they kind of like say he's kind of a hero, like the Empire killed him or whatever, like no one
He's
really knew
he's
he
a
was
martyr.
Sith.
Yeah, he's like,
Murder, yeah.
ooh, yeah.
So yeah, I like the Dooku thread kind of passing through the latest animated stuff. So um, yeah, pretty great. Episode 2 kind of keeps going with that. And give us a synopsis of 2 and 3, maybe there, Charlie.
Sure, absolutely. You know what? I'm gonna. Oh no, you know what? I'm not gonna stick K with that. I'm sorry. I'm throwing too many changes up. Yeah. So the cargo container crashes down. Obviously, our folks, Omega Tech, make it out. They meet a guy named Romar Adele, who is a local, and he's voiced by. I'm like, oh, I can't pick that voice. It was Hector Alonso, who
Mm.
was, if you love the 1990 film Pretty Woman, he was the guy who worked in the hotel who helped Julia Roberts out. So there you go. There's a sneak for you, because that's the way my brain works. But anyway, he takes them in and he kind of gives them like, we're the Serrano or the Serranoites, and we want to preserve our culture, and we don't. And it's still Omega is like, well, if we steal this war chest, we'll share it with you. Just help us. And he's like, I don't want that. I want our culture back. That's the most important thing to me. Money is not going to get us really what we want. They continue to slug it out. Echo and Tech are helping her, try to get that, they're trying to save her from trying to steal that back. And there's a great moment. There's a great Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade moment where she's hanging from a cliff and trying to reach something, and we get a real Indiana let it go when he's trying to grab the Holy Grail. I thought that was pretty sweet.
Yep.
So Hunter and Wrecker also fight themselves free. Everybody reconnects, and then they end up escaping with Romar's help. And then that Vice Admiral Rampart, so he's the bad guy that we saw. Obviously, he's the main big bad of this. We saw him last season, and he shows up and he's talking with the local clone on the ground, and he's like,
Yeah, Wilco.
yeah. So it was like it was Clone Force 99, huh? He's like, yeah, sure was. He's like, well, I reported that they were dead, and if you report that they're not dead, it's going to kind of be like a black mark on my record, so you're not going to be able to do that. And Wilco's like, well, I'm not going to falsify a report. I'm just not going to do something like that. And Rampart shoots him in the face. Not cool. Really proving himself to be the very Billy Zane in Titanic kind of one-layered villain. Yowza. Yeah, a lot going on in this two-parter. That was I was really engaged. I was like, damn, because we got both of these obviously Wednesday of last week. In April, and I get up and watch our stuff first thing in the morning. So this was like tea and coffee and guys getting shot in the face. That was our week.
But in like a fun animated fashion.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, and of course, because it's animated, you don't really see the guy get shot in the face, but it's just heavily implied as there's a blaster bolt and then there's a body that falls down a chasm. So, draw your own conclusions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it was pretty brutal.
Yeah, and this, like you said, this didn't pull any punches as far as the way that it started, and it was a nice kind of way to ease you back in from season 2, or into season 2, because obviously we ended with that really like epic scene of like the water and them saving Crosshair and then Crosshair leaving, and
right.
So I think you start to see a little bit more of their individuality coming out. Like they've altered their uniforms a little bit more, or their suits, which is really, really cool. Their armor, Omega seems like she's really coming into her own. Like you see her very competently using her bow, and she's definitely pushing boundaries and trying to be, part of the Bad Batch. She's trying to be a badass, just like they are. And she seems like she's doing a really good job. And I really like the way that these did set up the idea that, while I don't appreciate when people say like the Thanos was right thing, I think the Separatists did have a lot of really valid points as far as like we shouldn't have to join this giant federation of planets if we don't want to. Like, why is this starting a war just because we don't want to join your club?
Right. Right. It's kind of like in Star Trek, like the Cardassians, the Maquis, and the
Yeah.
whole rebellion. It's very, and which bleeds right back to the Rebel Alliance, the Rebel Alliance in Star Wars proper. So yeah, totally.
Yeah. So before we get into episode 3, because that goes off on a very different tangent, um, so we kind of like this overall. Any like specific character moments in these episodes that stick out to you, or like scenes, shots, things that you really like that really hooked you for these ones? For me, it was um, the the training thing right off the front on the beach of like, okay, you need to remember your ship. So like, there's one second, I'm gonna go be a badass with my boat and like save the rest of the crew,
I'll
and
be
then I'll
right
keep
back.
on book learning.
Mhm.
And it was like, I
Fancy book
love that,
learning.
you know,
Yeah,
like
right.
Yeah.
that Omega's kind of getting, like, each of the clones in Clone Force 99 are manufactured, for lack of a better term, to be specialists in one area. You've got, Wrecker with the brawn. You've got, the guy with the, it's like they all have that one specialty, but they're all seemingly training Omega to be everything.
Mhm.
Right. The,
You know,
the Jane of all trades, as it were.
yeah. So
Mhm.
I kind of love that it's you see, like, I guess clones have their accelerated growth and she doesn't. So there is going to be a point in the future where it's kind of going to be like TMNT's last Ronin kind of thing of like, there's one left and it's her, but she has like
Mhm.
all the skills, all the weapons, all the whatever, piecemealed armor I could even picture in the future of like all her fallen fathers,
Father,
so,
brother,
Yeah.
donors, the
team,
donor.
Yeah.
what,
Well, and it
yeah.
possibly force sensitive because we still haven't had that really answered as far as like what she was manufactured for.
Mhm.
Right.
Right.
Yes, exactly. She's
So
hopefully it's not going to turn out like Doll over on Prodigy, right, Kay? Wink.
Oh, don't even start with me, Charlie. This is not Code 47.
Sorry, couldn't help
Why
it.
do you wound me like that? I mean, if you want to have me go off about Prodigy versus Bad Batch, I can, and I
I,
have.
I think we shan't, as it were.
so what about you guys? In the first 2 episodes specifically, anything that stood out to you is like, yeah, I'm instantly hooked back into this show.
I
Let's
mean,
go.
I think definitely like watching Omega be a badass with her bow, because that's what I was waiting for through season 1. So just seeing her just right on the uptake be able to do that. But I also really like the scene where they were trapped in the cargo container and
Mhm.
like trying to figure out how to do that in the really
Mhm.
creative way that they would be like, okay, we're gonna eject it and then we're gonna use the thrusters. So I thought that was like kind of a cool like kind of scene of chaos.
Mhm.
Mm.
Totally.
Joe?
I also, first of all, was grabbed by what we saw in the trailers with the crabs and okay, the crabs not being metaphorical, but them actually being chased by crabs. It seemed like a crazy dream or something. But that was cool, and I'm glad we didn't stay too bogged down on the I felt too much of season 1 got mired in the mission of the week and hey, you guys got to go do this to make this money to do that, and Mando certainly in the first season had that same issue. Hey, so and so can help you with your thing, but you got to help them with this other thing where you could get killed and make no money, and maybe you'll get the thing. So I'm glad they didn't bag on that too much. We did get the return of Rhea Perlman's character, but we got a character voiced by Wanda Sykes. Wanda
Ah,
Mhm.
bounty
giving you
hunter.
what you likes. I mean,
I
I
like
loved her.
that pairing.
Yeah, I loved her back when she was part of Chris Rock's troupe back in the '90s with his old
Mhm.
show. So I've always been a fan. But no, it was great. I love I love an animated program that brings in real kind of ringers as voice talent. Like I said, Hector Elizondo came into this. It was funny. When I was trying to figure out if that was him, I was on IMDb and I went to the source page for episode 2, and there were 4 actors listed. There was the actor who's Omega, there was Hector Elizondo and Rampart, and D. Bradley Baker did every other voice because
Yep.
he's all the clones and he's all of the clone 99 guys. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Whatever they're
it's a
paying
good
him,
gig
it's
for
not
him,
enough.
I guess.
Exactly.
And he is also the voice of Murph in Prodigy. Back to Prodigy again.
Why you gotta do that to me? Why you gotta do that to me, man?
Uh,
It's what I
Charlie.
it's what I
You
do. Both
cannot
sides.
taint Bad Batch with Prodigy. That's not allowed.
Oh my goodness, it's a war for this is the real Star War right here.
This is
Uh,
me
you,
being taught I will die on this hill.
you can come back before episode 145. You're redeeming yourself here.
Earned
Uh,
stripes earned.
uh, we got a full change on episode 3 that
Oh wow,
focused
big time.
completely
Oh yeah.
on pretty much Crosshair the whole episode, and showing how he's back in the Empire. He's kind of still a loner, even with the other. You see the other like, you can't sit with us, and they move tables, and he's kind of alone. He's lost so much, and you kind of wonder if that's going to, for me anyway, I kind of wondered if that was going to break him. Like, oh, maybe the other guys were right. Maybe I was kind of a dick. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. And we see him go through this mission with Commander Cody making a repeat appearance, which
Yay.
was great, because it was kind of like, what happened with Cody? Where is he? And we found out
Cody was Mr. Order 66. He was the first
Yeah.
guy to get on that conference call. And I wanted to say this to the end, but what you just said about Crosshair is going to lead me to saying, hold me now. It's hard for me to say I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. Sorry, Peter Cetera.
No one likes a Charlie joke as much as Charlie.
My face is this red. Yes.
I love when you crack yourself up, man. It's the best.
I mean, I'm delightful. What do you want from me?
Oh shit. So yeah, we see at the end of this, like, full spoilers. I mean, if you haven't caught on that we're going full spoilers, but like, by the end of this, they go through the mission that they're doing. Commander Cody, you see, still has a heart. He's starting to, maybe, I don't know if the chips are wearing off, if there's something with, maybe Cody's got a little bit of a defective chip or something, but you can still see that Cody is a good person that wants to come up with a diplomatic solution. He promised he wouldn't shoot the person. He promised, let's just put down our weapons. We can talk this through with the again, I'm
Ames.
Yes,
Ames, but
they're on a planet
the
Desic, which
governor.
is yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
And yeah, we see them just kind of do that, and the Empire guy is like, like, no, shoot them. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
hold on.
How
I
weasel.
promised I
Right.
wouldn't. Like, let's talk this. And then Crosshair, just stone cold killer, no redemption.
Mhm.
Just see ya. Good soldiers follow orders.
And Grattan is like, toss her up in the square, let everybody see she's dead. I was like, God damn, that's dark. Holy shit.
Ruthless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've
So I
really,
wonder,
really gone in quite a direction in this episode, in this season. Just
yeah.
dark.
So I wonder if Cody's, we're gonna see more of Cody. We found out he deserts the Empire.
Right. Yeah, he went AWOL.
Right.
So what happens after? Is he, does he just disappear to the Outer Rim? Is he going to join Clone Force 99? Is he going to go find someone else? I'm very curious to see if this will follow Cody more, or maybe that's a spin-off that they're planning, or something different. Like, is it?
I mean, that's a great question, because in Rebels, which is obviously 15 years after this or longer, we see that Rex, who we've seen last season because we already knew he was on his own, hooks up with Wolf and Gregor, and they're on that planet where they're going around on the old ATTT. Is that the little walker thing?
That with the squat walker.
Yeah, the little squat walker. Yeah, and they're fishing. That's their gig. They're desert fishing, and then they eventually hook up with Rebels. We know that Rex becomes Grandpa, who we see in Return of the Jedi. He's one of the Rebel Force commandos that you see on Endor, with the big beard. But what happens to Cody? Does he run with them for a while and he doesn't make it? Does he take off? I mean, does he get out of the life altogether and he, does the old trope of, he leaves the war behind and he settles down on a backwater somewhere and has a wife
Becomes a
and kid
moisture farmer.
He's on Tatooine, because everybody ends up on Tatooine. It's the only planet in that galaxy. No matter what your map says, you are still on Tatooine, no matter where you are.
It's like Hotel California.
Oh my God! Yes, you can check out, but you can never leave.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see if we pick up more of the Cody story or if that has to wait. So,
Yeah.
Right.
um, be
And I
interested to
thought
see.
the because the title of the episode was the solitary clone, and
Hmm.
you watch it first thinking that they're going to be talking about Crosshair because it's going through with Crosshair, and you see him ostracized repeatedly by the different clones, but at the same time, you're also seeing this kind of ostracization and like continual solitariness of Cody as he's struggling to figure out where his place is now as well when he
Hmm.
doesn't want to be following these orders. And I do wonder if maybe it's something with the chips where yes, the chip was there to trigger that they would follow Order 66, but I'm
Yeah.
not sure if it was long-term programming. And so
Yeah.
now they're trying to cope with the fact that they killed all of their friends and these people that they've
Whoops.
been working with, yeah, for so long. And you start to see kind of this juxtaposition with both of them trying to manage what they've done. And where, Crosshair's kind of doubling down on it, and he's like, no, this is it, we're following orders. But he also maybe ends the episode trying to determine, because I think him and Cody, don't they have a conversation about like how what makes them different than the drones that they were fighting, than the clankers at this point?
Mm.
Because if they're just following orders, why do they need to be people? And I think that that's really going to be the thing that kind of sits with Crosshair for a while.
Mm. Yeah. I have to say, as much as you want to like hate Crosshair through this episode of like, especially with the Stone Cold killing at the end, that
Mhm.
shot where he's just like, give me a line of sight and he bounces it off those little reflector
Oh
coin
my word,
things
that
up the
was
staircase. It was like, holy
absolutely
shit.
phenomenal. That
That
entire
was
fight scene,
Come
like
on.
that, yeah,
right.
that entire fight scene was probably like I would say maybe one of the best ones I've seen in an animated series. It was
Wow.
Hell yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
just
Not
phenomenal.
including lightsabers. Yeah, that was, yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, you're
right
right.
up there.
A completely non-Jedi kind of. Yeah, that was Rambo crossed with Terminator, crossed with
Mm.
Commando, crossed with
Mhm.
throw out Cobra, which was another Stallone movie, and Chuck Norris, and all of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty amazing.
Chuck Norris
Um,
Force.
Which I mean, yeah. Anyway, we'll get into the Clone Force '99 to action '90s action movie or '80s action movie stars. I guess we could. There's probably some direct correlation there with a few of them.
Hmm.
Um, so how are you guys? We're 3 episodes in. How are you feeling so far with this season compared to the first?
I mean, I would say I'm super energized. And Katie, you're the number one fan. I'm not going to put that down. I like people loving what they love, and plus, I don't want you to stab me with something because I know I'm gonna see you soon, and you might be like, "Hey, how you doing?" Oh, that's what you talk about. Bad batch. But
Maybe.
the first season for me, it dragged a little bit. It kind of turned into scam of the week, and we're going to go do this thing and blah blah. But this. Much like the first season, which started out super strong because the first season it interjected Caleb Dune's story, which eventually bled into Rebels, and you kind of saw how his story started.
Mhm.
This was definitely engaging you from the jump, but I think episode 3 in particular showed you that the shits is very dark. There's no hope right now. Everybody's struggling. The rebellion is years away, or people are still talking about it in hushed closets, and there really is no hope for anybody. And you're just really starting to see that Palpatine is asserting himself in a way that's terrifying, and he's still got a clone army that doesn't question what he wants until they do. And
Mhm.
this is where you see, so it makes me really wonder, was the real muscle behind the rebellion in the beginning, were they ex-clones? Were they clones who, like you said, everybody's chipped, and it makes it sound like it's your poodle. Everybody's chipped, or it's your cat. Everybody was chipped to behave in a certain fashion, but what if those chips were no joy? What if the Kaminoans designed them to be defective because they didn't trust the Jedi, or they didn't trust what they were doing?
Yeah.
And here's another conspiracy theory. What if the chips were designed to fail if the Republic or whomever it is turned on the Kaminoans and wiped them out? Maybe
Hmm.
yeah. Maybe there was a final like, okay, the guys.
If we don't press this
if the
button every
city's
10
sunk,
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah, you're right. It's like lost. Yeah, if you don't type in 6, 4, 18, 27, and 30, 32. But yeah, what if they're one Camino who was like glub, 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 click, and then all the chips started to fizzle.
Yeah,
There,
that's a
there,
potential.
there-
I mean,
yeah. There's my conspiracy theory. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Katie, what do you think? You're
Yeah,
the big fan.
I'm a big fan, yeah, and I like how this series seems to have taken a much more serious tone. I feel like I'm watching later Clone Wars series or later Rebels series or seasons where you're really seeing the struggle that comes with war. Like it's having those real world impacts. There's a lot of stuff going on where, a lot of season 1 was the Bad Batch dealing with the fact that they had betrayed the Empire, and now it seems like they're dealing with becoming founding members possibly of building up the rebellion, where they're starting to have these moments of, well, what are you doing if you're not helping? Like it's that great commentary of, if you're not actively opposing, fascism and, the enemy that's, the oppressor, then that means that you are helping the oppressor.
Yeah.
And I think that that's going to be a great thing to kind of continue to see, especially with Omega being very active and being like, no, we should do something, and kind of being the moral push for the rest of the group.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Where do you think the first 3 episodes we've seen kind of that setup of already, which is wild that there's only 3 episodes, but where do you think this season is headed overall? Okay.
I think that it's going to start setting up more with the rebellion, and you're going to start seeing, the Bad Batch start to evolve from being just, defective clones to actually taking a part in fighting the overall empire. I would like to see more, possibly with Omega. I mean, maybe it's going to be something where something happens to Omega where we start finding out what she was actually created for. And that might be the crux that ends up kind of pushing them over the edge to see what happens. I'm still curious. I can't really say, I think, what they're going to do with Crosshair. Whether or not it's going to be something where, he kind of has a break and just decides that he's just going to let the world burn, or if it's going to be something where he kind of doubles down because his entire identity is wrapped in being a soldier, and watching that fall apart, could break him.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There was something, I'm just trying to quickly look it up. There was something about like this tying into Mandalorian.
I mean,
there's the hold on, here we go. According to SFX magazine, Star Wars Bad Batch supervising director and executive producer Brad Rau, R-A-U, I want to say Rau. Anyway, talked about the upcoming installment, specifically teasing that it could explore the connection between itself and the Mandalorian. Stated in the interview that Nalase's meeting with the cloning expert who was sporting the same uniform as the Mandalorian's Dr. Pershing was not a coincidence, and that the show will get into that.
Really? And I did see, obviously, Pershing listed as a main character in season 3. Yeah.
That actually makes a lot of sense, because if they were trying to create a Force-sensitive clone and maybe it wasn't working, so then they started trying to find Force-sensitive creatures to clone.
Right. Right, because that's all they were. Yeah, that's all they were really.
Because because they're trying to explain Palpatine coming back.
Right. Oh, yeah. Going the extra distance. All right. Well, let me give you my 2 cents on where I think we're going this season, and I'm going to borrow a little bit from something that happened in the Star Wars comics, which in Volume 2, they're now on Volume 1 of the current incarnation of the main line. There was a time, and it was just prior to The Empire Strikes Back, where the Rebel fleet was all assembled. They had this ally that was going to bring a bunch of people to the table, and it was a huge bait and switch. It was a setup to put them in front of the Empire, and then like 80% of the Rebel fleet was wiped out. People were killed. My biggest fear is going to be kind of the same thing. More clones defect to the Bad Batch's side. They start to build up a real rebellion, and then somebody like Crosshair does them a double sneak, and most of the clones get killed. That's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid, because this season has already tilted so dark that I think that would be kind of the kind of the darkest timeline for how to end things, to end things.
Yeah, I'm really curious how long they can go without us losing at least one of the clones, one of the Bad Batch.
Oh my gosh, you
Yeah,
guys!
I kind of
Don't you put that on me, Bobby Joe.
we
Oh my god. You guys,
I'm,
you don't even want to
I'm
know. I told Todd we were winding down because we had another recording, and he had something
Mhm.
nasty to say about the Bad Batch. I'm not even going to read
I
you what he
saw it
wrote.
on my watch. I'm just going to
Todd.
ignore him completely.
He's so rude. I swear.
Before we wrap up, I have to ask because personal favorite of mine, Gunji, is making an appearance. We've seen him in the trailers
Yes,
sporting that amazing green lightsaber that is probably
Yes.
my favorite all-time lightsaber design with the wood and just it's friggin' perfect.
Given to
Like
him by David Tennant.
just yep, just
Somehow he beamed it
so
in,
friggin'
popped out
perfect.
of the TARDIS. Oh
Um
my gosh.
it is amazing and I can't wait to see that. So are there any cameos either that you know that are coming or that you would love to see in this season? If you know you're writing it, who would you write in?
Rex.
Okay, we'll start. Rex?
I want Rex.
More Rex?
More Rex.
I want to
Oh.
see your boy Cameron Monaghan as a young man.
Oh,
Because,
Charlie.
because we already know his fate. Oh, did I steal yours? My
Yes.
bad. Well,
No,
then we can
no, I was
just
gonna
nod and
say
smile.
you just said the one thing that like would make me be like Gunji who?
Yeah, right. Well, I mean,
New
'cause
phone who dis.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Throwing out Gunji like yesterday's, right in the bin,
Mhm.
mate. Right in the bin. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, because we've
Holy,
seen
yeah.
Cal Kestis obviously in his video game form. You see that he's he's the actor. Photocopied. You've seen Cameron Monaghan on stage, wasn't he, at your Game Awards a couple of months ago in
Yep.
uniform, in character.
With the lightsaber. Yeah.
So why not toss him into this 3D world and have him be a part of this, and he'd be a young man? Or what about putting him together with Caleb, and maybe the two of them are buddies somehow, and maybe they do an episode where they're a buddy team, but they get split up somehow, different ideologies, something like that. I don't know, but I could see the two of them being something kind of dynamic,
That'd be cool.
for a
I'd
cameo,
need
not for
to,
something necessarily ongoing.
yeah, I'd need to see, and maybe they help him get to the Junker planet because Fallen Order starts, we see him. Basically, it seems like he's been hiding out on this like Braca or whatever it's called, the junk planet for quite a while. So I don't know the time stretch in between there where like could he have had too many adventures? You know what I mean? Like he's really trying to keep it low. So, but I would love maybe like the Bad Batch helped him get there or something
Mhm.
like that. Like that would be a cool like
That would be
little
a really
tiny
cool through
cross
line,
kind of
yeah.
like yeah. That'd be neat. I love that answer, Charlie. Thank you. That was you've got the wheels turning. I need my
Every
the
once in a while.
droid fan fiction, and then I need this to happen.
Yeah.
This is my yeah new Star Wars dreams for me for sure.
Excellent. Good deal.
Yes. Well, I think that wraps it up for today. Kay, thanks for joining us once again. We definitely have to have you back very, very soon. Not
Yes.
you've redeemed yourself through this episode, so it's
Yeah.
not going to be like
Sorry I shit
episode
all over your
405.
ships.
That's okay. That's okay.
I'm sorry I broke up your Black Panther party. Oh, that was just a different Forrest Gump. Oh, well, we'll have you if we do like a pre-Ahsoka, if we do like best of Ahsoka, you're in. You're in. You're in there.
Yes,
Anytime you want. Anytime
absolutely.
you want.
And yeah, I would say you can always have me on for more Bad Batch. I'm always happy to talk about Bad Batch.
Oh, good.
Awesome.
We'll bring Todd back too. Wait, no, we're not going to do that.
Okay, can you let people know where they can find you on the internet and what
Yeah,
you're up
you
to?
can find me on Twitter at QTGeek. That's Q_T Geek. And then I'm on Counter Social at K Quinn.
Awesome. And of
Rock
course,
on.
with Charlie and doing things on Secret Friends Unite podcasts all the time.
The trickery, exactly. Well, you can find me as always on Twitter at the C3. Go ahead and spell it out. I'm on some other socials as well. Mostly I hang around our Discord, bringing fun news and chatting with people. My lovely wife April and I do run the USS Grand Petoskey, of which Kay is a member. She's our premier lower decker ensign. We are a chapter of the International Star Trek Fan Club. You can find us at a website of that name and across socials all over. We would love to have you on board. We even take in people who love Star Wars because you know what? Loving Star Wars, loving Star Trek have absolutely nothing to do with each other. if you feel differently, meet me in that alleyway out there. I'll be the guy with the lightsaber, because that's dumb.
And the phaser.
And the
But
phaser.
But they both have star in the name, and you can't like more than one thing that has star in
No,
the name.
exactly.
Obviously.
Everybody knows that. That's in the Bible somewhere. It's in the back.
Exactly. You can find me everywhere at _Canardian, except on Hive, where I'm just Canardian, and as Charlie said, always hanging out in the Secret Friends Unite Discord group.
Woohoo! All right, friends, as always, thank you for joining us. I'm going to tell you that sharing is caring, and to keep on trucking, not trekking.
Very close, Charlie. You're on thin ice, sir. May the force be with you. Rex, play us out.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, wherever you go boldly.
And
Oh, big ending. There we go. This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network. Visit secretfriendsunite.com for more great shows, articles, news, reviews, and more. Secret Friends Unite podcasts are available on Apple, Google, Spotify, and other podcast services around the world. If you'd like to be part of the conversation, you can join us on Facebook or our new Discord server, or follow @SecretFriendsU on Twitter. Please subscribe to Secret Friends Unite on YouTube and visit our merch store at tpublic.com. Just search Secret Friends Unite. Thanks for listening.